Glass explodes in your living room. Shards skip across the floor like ice. A bottle spins end over end, trailing gasoline. It hits the drapes and the fabric blooms into flame like it was waiting for it. You don't think, you move. You grab your family, you snatch the go bag, you run downstairs. You slam the reinforced steel basement door, you throw the deadbolt. The sound is solid, final, comforting. Food, water, guns, concrete walls, you tell yourself you're safe, and that is the fatal error. Because you didn't lock the danger out. You locked yourself inside a convection oven. By the time you smell smoke down here, the physics have already started closing your grave. Air pressure in the stairwell is already working against that door. Heat is already warping the frame. You built a bunker in your mind, but in reality you built a trap. If you fail this, you don't die like the movies. You don't go out heroic. You go quiet, you get sleepy. Your judgment evaporates, your lungs pull in poison you can't see. Then you don't wake up. Most people think basement equals safety. The science says otherwise. Tonight you learn the Firestorm Protocol, the thermodynamics of structural collapse, and the only way to survive when your fortress starts burning above your head. And there is one tool that can save your life when the ceiling drops. I'll name it later, but first you need to understand why you're trapped. Your brain has a bias. It's ancient. When danger comes, humans den. Underground, heavy walls, one entrance. Like a burrow, like a womb. That instinct kept your ancestors alive when the predator had teeth. But in collapse, the predator isn't a wolf, it's physics. A burning house becomes a thermal engine, a stove, and your basement becomes the intake. This is the chimney effect, the stack effect. Fire upstairs superheats air. Hot air rises, it escapes through every crack, vent, and broken window up high. And replacement air has to come from somewhere. It comes from the lowest point, your basement. So while you're downstairs counting supplies, the house is breathing through you, and it's stealing the one resource you cannot stockpile in a closet: oxygen. First rule, oxygen audit. Fire eats oxygen faster than you do. Combustion math doesn't care about your plans. You can hold your breath for maybe a minute. Fire can turn breathable air into lethal atmosphere while you're still deciding what to do. As the upstairs burns, the stack effect pulls air upward. That creates a low-pressure draw below. Your basement becomes the lungs feeding the flame. Even if the fire never reaches the door, hypoxia will. Low oxygen makes you stupid first, then it makes you compliant. And then there is carbon monoxide. CO doesn't politely stay upstairs. It doesn't settle like a cartoon fog. It mixes. Hot air churns it, cold surfaces cool it, pressure changes shove it through gaps you didn't know existed. In a sealed basement, co-saturation can reach lethal levels in minutes, not hours, depending on the fire and ventilation. Your body doesn't scream when CO climbs, it lies to you. Headache, nausea, a weird calm. Then sleep. So here is what you do. You never retreat to a basement without a way to force air out and bring clean air in. Positive pressure ventilation, or a dedicated sealed oxygen supply. Scuba, rebreather, something real. If you don't have that, your safe room must be above ground with window access, period. And listen carefully. A filter mask is not oxygen. If the air is poison or missing, you can't filter more air into it. Measure your atmosphere, don't guess. Co-detector at minimum. Oxygen meter if you're serious. Second rule, coffin lid physics. That reinforced steel door makes you feel strong. Its weight, its certainty. Steel expands when heated. Heat the frame and it grows. Millimeters matter. The door jams into the jamb, the bolt binds, the hinges twist. Your pride becomes a wedge that locks you in. Then conduction starts. Heat walks across metal like a living thing. The handle becomes too hot to touch. Not uncomfortable, blistering, skin sticks. Then tears, and now you've lost blood and time. Pressure makes it worse. The fire upstairs is pulling air. That pull can translate into force holding the door shut against you. Hundreds of pounds in the wrong setup. You shoulder check it and feel nothing. No movement. Just your own panic bouncing off steel. So you prepare. From the inside, you need a thermal barrier on the interior side of that door. Something that slows heat transfer. Fire-rated insulation, layered fire blanket system, mineral wool board mounted correctly. You do a cold hand check. If you can't keep the inside surface survivable, you don't have an exit, you have a wall. And you store a pry tool inside the room, not nearby, inside, because when the frame warps and the bolt binds, the latch is a suggestion, not a guarantee. Third rule, the grave digger's exit. Fire doesn't just burn, it weakens. The floor above you is your ceiling. When it fails, it falls as a sheet of death. Joists, drywall, furniture, waterlogged debris, burning fragments, and it doesn't land neatly. It creates a rubble cap, a lid. From above, someone can pull pieces away. From below, you're trying to lift a house with your hands. You can't. So you need a secondary egress, not a fantasy. A real, practiced exit. If you have basement windows, you probably barred them for security. Understand the trade. Intruder delay versus fire death. You need a quick release from the inside. Pins you can pull, hinges you can drop, a system designed to fail outward when you hit the lever. And now the tool I promised, the one most people don't buy because it isn't glamorous. A 20-ton hydraulic bottle jack, stored in the basement, not to lift the whole collapse, to lift one beam, one corner, enough to make a crawl space, enough to turn sealed into possible. Your hands are useless against gravity. Mechanical advantage is survival. Store cribbing too. For X4 blocks, because you never trust a jack alone, you lift, you crib, you lift again. Gravity is undefeated, plan accordingly. Fourth rule, sensory deprivation. Basements make you blind, and blindness kills. Upstairs is the truth, down here is guessing. You don't know if attackers are still in your home. You don't know if the fire is spreading toward the stairwell. You don't know if the roof is about to pancake and drive the house down like a hammer. Your brain fills the gaps with comfort. It's fine, it'll pass. That thought has killed more people than flame, so you build eyes that don't blink. A battery-powered camera feed on the stairwell and perimeter. Local, simple, rugged. Not dependent on internet, not dependent on the cloud. And you build ears that can reach through wood and concrete. A mechanic's stethoscope can tell you footsteps overhead. A directional mic can tell you crackling wood, popping joints. Warnings before failure. Because timing matters. With eyes and ears, you can wait until the boots leave. You can move when the moment opens. Without them, you open that steel door blind, into heat, smoke, and maybe the hands that threw the bottle. Now the grim reality. Sometimes the protocol tells you to do the thing you hate most. Leave. You will feel the concrete and think it's safety, but safety isn't walls. Safety is options. If the air is turning, if carbon monoxide is climbing, if the door is warming, if the ceiling starts talking with creaks and groans, staying becomes a quiet execution. Leaving means chaos, broken glass, bad people, heat that peels your breath away. Staying means sleep. That's the moral cost. The hardest thing you will ever do is open that door when you hear screaming upstairs, because instinct begs you to hide, to wait, to hope, but logic doesn't care about hope. A secure room you cannot leave is not a fortress. It's a prison cell waiting for an executioner with infinite patience. Remember this. The basement feeds the fire, chimney effect. It steals oxygen from the lowest point. Where you are, steel doors warp, heat expands metal, pressure and conduction turn your exit into a sealed lid. You need a secondary exit, window well strategy, quick release bars. You need mechanical advantage, a 20-ton hydraulic bottle jack and cribbing. And you need reality, cameras, audio, because blindness turns decisions into roulette. A fortress is defined by its ability to keep enemies out. A tomb is defined by its ability to keep you in. Make sure you know which one you've built before you turn the lock. The world is fragile. It breaks fast. And it breaks without permission. If you want to be ready when it does, stay close. This is where you learn to think like someone who intends to wake up tomorrow.